Hello. Yeah, welcome to the second part series of learning how to be a guru of lenses so you make the right choices and you're like extra happy. Oh my god. A lot of you bought like the Nikkor 60mm 2.8D series, and there's a chick that bought one last week off my recommendation, and she's got a nice Flickr page, and she shows a bunch of pictures taken of family and whatnot, and she bought one of those lenses off of eBay from my recommendation, and she emailed me back. She's like, "Oh my God, I'm having so much fun. This lens is so sharp." And she was really happy before. And I'm not trying to put her as an example. It's just like one example among countless thousands. She was really happy before and trying to improve photography, and that's important. I mean, a professional could take a crappy lens, and if they got good skills, expert in composition, expert in light manipulation, they can squeeze some nice juice even out of a lemon lens. Just add a little sugar to it with their expertise, but still, you want the best gear possible. But this is the case everybody else. I mean, people send me pictures like, well, this lens, yours is full of crap. You're saying this Zeiss Batis is bad. And, a person sent me pictures yesterday from the Zeiss Batis, and the pictures and the compositions were great, and the lens was certainly sharp. That's not a bone of contention. But everything else wasn't so good. And, it all gets down to spectrum of experience. And, what's your spectrum of experience? It's like asking the wino, what do you like? I like Ripple, or anything else that'll get me drunk really quick. That crap from Walmart, it's $4 a bottle is good enough. And it is the case that people don't, and how the hell are you? I mean, are you going to work in a few camera stores and, acquire a bazillion lenses over God knows how many years, and, it's a problem. It's just a problem. And who the hell are you going to trust? You got issues of trust, and someone else is like, "Hi, my name is Sam, and this is my channel, and this is my wife, and this lens is awesome, and I use it, and I'm rich and popular, and I've got many subscribers, and you should listen." Yeah, I'll go buy one of those. So the question then becomes, is somebody else, do they have the experience? And if they don't, who are you going to trust? I'm not saying trust me. There are some wise things to do, and I'm certainly building a website, although I'm always endlessly out of time every day. It's only 24 hours a day, and I got translation and book to do, and the website, and make these videos, respond to tons of emails and comments. But you have to want to know what it is you want, and then look for it. And of course, someone could do a lot of post-processing, but you can actually hit a lens on a Flickr page just for that specific lens, and you can weed out what someone did. You'll actually see characteristics that are common to every shot. That way you're able to weed out if a lens is good or bad or not, or if it's what you actually want in the shot. You can see if someone actually might have done a whole lot of post-processing screwing with the lens, but you can weed that out, as you can see, well, this characteristic exists in every one of these pictures. This lens in every picture has poor micro contrast, regardless of how it was post-processed, because you can't fix that in post-processing. This has good bokeh. You can't process that in or out anyway, so that's not a concern to worry about in post-processing. Chromatic aberration, you can, obviously. Vignetting, you could crop it, but like rendered depth and color saturation, because a lot of people, you can certainly tweak the color saturation. A lot of people won't tweak that, and you'll actually see that every shot basically has that characteristic. Then you know that that's a property of the lens. That way you don't have to trust me or trust anybody else, and someone else is sponsored and they're trying to blow smoke up your butt. But even if they are not sponsored, there's a lot of videos on YouTube, and someone's got a few lenses lined up, and like, I've owned 6 lenses, and this is the best lens. It's like, well, that's nice and all, but frankly, I don't give a damn, because that doesn't mean you know anything. That might be your best lens, but the fact that you owned 8 or 9 or 6 or whatever lenses, and you're just like hopping happy, and you just want to rip someone's eyeballs out like me when I say, that's a decent lens, but it's not really any good. What do you mean? This is my best lens. You're full of crap, you tattooed SOB. It's like, okay, calm down a little bit. It's not a good. Have you tried this? I have not tried this lens. No, 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 no. I'll maybe take a look at it. And they try and they go, oh my God, you're right. That lens is really good. Well, so what's the spectrum of experience? I'm not the most personable person in the world, but I'm certainly not doing this for money or fame. So I'd like to help people, and that's good. I've got more experience on these lenses than the Nikkor lenses, namely, than the top 5 or the top 10 people on YouTube combined. All of them combined collectively don't even have half my experience on the Nikkor lenses. I mean, they can say whatever the hell they want about me. Let's ask them. Have you got the experience with all those lenses? No. There's not a single one of them that'll even claim it. Nor all of them collectively. Is that something to brag about? No. But it's good for you because it means I could be helpful because I have nobody's hands up my butt. And, I like people being happy. Like, I don't have a wife or kids or, I got to be helpful to somebody for God's sakes. It sure as hell isn't for fame or money. So I'm glad I could be helpful. But that's an issue that people have is they're defensive. And, I could kind of make a crude analogy, but I won't go there. But I have to think of a more tame analogy is that, you think you might have the best in the... But, if you actually experience what's out there, it's you may go like the prisoner that's in jail. He's been in jail for 50 years, and he just thinks his lasagna that he gets on a 1-month basis. Every month the jail has lasagna. It's like, yeah, and you just think that's the best food in the world, and you get out into the real world, and you go, oh damn, even a McDonald's hamburger is better than that slop I was eating in jail. And the same is true of lenses. People get so defensive that they just, they're making good results with what they've got. But is that the best? And I don't mean money-wise. I mean, is there something that's, nice and cheap and awesome that I could get that will do a much better job for, if not the same money, if not possibly less money? And the answer, 9 times out of 10, is certainly yes. And as I said in the prior video, not everything is based upon sharpness or resolution. People go, how sharp is it? How sharp is it? There's a lot of characteristics to lenses that are really equally as important as resolution. And the fact is, this is a damn fact. I mean, this is a damn fact. Basically, unless it's a crappy made lens, Sigma, really like Samyang, Rokinon, those Peckerwoods, that just have poor slave labor building that stuff at breakneck speeds in China. Basically, the point is, the past 40 years, all the lenses have been sharp. They really have been, and I can't deny it. You cannot. You can't deny it. Are there variations in sharpness, especially from corner to corner? Yeah. Wide the hell open? There's an issue, and from corner to corner, there's an issue. But every lens is a trade-off, as any lens designer will tell you. But they've all been sharp, if they're stopped down at least 2 stops from their maximum open aperture. Take any lens and it's not sharp from the past 40 years, as long as it wasn't built incorrectly, you stop it down a couple stops, and then, okay, I stopped it down. Then it's sharp. So sharpness isn't even a concern. Oh my God, you're speaking heresy. You're saying sharpness isn't that concern, isn't an issue? I basically am. Past 40 years, you take any decent lens, even a blah lens, and you stop it down a couple stops, and then everything else becomes important because this lens has already become sharp. So people pissing and moaning about how sharp is it? How sharp is it? It's not an issue anymore. Now you need to concern yourself with this other crap that is important: micro contrast, bokeh. Translational depth, chromatic aberration, vignetting, corner to corner, color saturation, acutance, construction, sample consistency, autofocus speed, durability. All of these things become vitally important, and resolution, it's out the window. Why is it out the window? Because you don't have to worry about it anymore. It's the same reason you don't really have to worry. Some cars are safer than others, okay? But here in America, I forget the company, it has to pass the standard that if you get in a decent wreck that you ain't gonna die. So the whole issue back in the day when we were worried about is that car safe or not, that's when Volvo was making a ton of money because Americans were making these crappy cars that were not that safe if you got in a wreck, and Volvo was like, we make safe cars, you not die in our cars. It's not a concern anymore because everything has to pass a spec. And it's the same way with lenses. There's not a spec, but they've all been sharp, unless it's a really crappy lens like Rokinon, Samyang, and Sigma has bad inconsistencies in their quality control. It's not an issue. So you don't have to worry about resolution anymore. You just don't. You don't. You don't. That means you need to worry about all this other crap. And then you need to, if you're never going to have, unless you got tons of money and way too much time on your hands to do what I've done and, piss away part of my life, testing endless piles of lenses. But I'm not saying trust me. But the reject ratio on my advice, as far as the lens recommendations I've given out and then people reply back, has been astronomically high. It is well in excess of 99%. I mean, that's not an exaggeration. I don't care if you believe me or not. I don't care. It is the truth. I actually thought it would be higher than that, not because I was questioning my own advice, but because it doesn't matter what you do, someone's going to complain. It'll be a percentage of people that complain. It's like, well, here's a bunch of free crap. And then like a certain percentage of people will come back going like, I appreciate you giving me that free crap, but I don't like it. Could you give me something different? It's like, oh, Jesus, it was free. So people are always going to complain. So the complaint factor has been really, really, really low. Far lower than even I thought. So anyway, those are things to consider. It's all about making logical, informed decisions, but don't just think, like, well, I've owned 5 lenses and this is the best, and, I'm really happy with it. Well, that's fine. But, maybe there's something better. Maybe. And you'd be happier with it. And it might even be cheaper. And, keep an open mind. I'm not saying being naive, I'm just saying keep an open mind. Okay. Thank you. I'm so bummed out. My magnet destroyed my camera today. That pisses me off. It was a point-and-shoot camera, though, so whatever. Bye.